Tonight I decided to fry some chicken legs. I was going to cut them, but I just washed them, and as you can see, the grease is dark. But there are no, you can see there's no crumbs at the bottom of the grease, which means that the darkness only gives it more flavor. See, there are no crumbs at the end of this grease at the bottom of the pan, which would stick to the meat and make it really not good to eat. It didn't taste good. So what I did was I took some chicken legs that I got from my best friend, one of my best friends, wonderful lady, and I tried to clean them, but it appears that they're already clean. I tried to clean them. There was nothing for me to clean out. So anyhow, I washed them a little more, and I applied poultry seasoning all over it, as you can see here. And so that I just wanted a different flavor. Some people just put salt and pepper, and some people put their favorite flavor seasonings. As you can see, it's not expensive. Sometimes you get expensive things and it tastes not even as good as some things you pay less money for. So basically, I got this poultry seasoning and I applied it to my chicken after, rinsing it off and making sure, but like I said, it was clean. Really underneath the skin, there was nothing to clean. It was great. Weren't even too many veins or anything. And I put it in my bag of flour, and I did it in the sink because, I don't want it to get all over the floor and everything, the counter or whatever. So it gets in the sink, I can clean it better. So I put a little flour in the bag, and I shook it up with the fresh flour. I did fresh flour because you can only use it so many times before you get too many clumps in your flour, and then you have really hard lumps in your flour, and it makes the crust not as good as it could be. You want to crunching down, and you have a good time eating your chicken, your fried whatever you're eating, and pork chop chicken, whatever it might be, and your crust tastes good, and it's you hit a hard lump that's old, that came from the old flour bag that was just too much. You have to eventually either sift it, or like you can use something like this, and you can sift it out through here. You put the flour in, if you use it a couple of times, and you put it in here. But I didn't have to do that tonight. I just used, checked the bag to see if there were too many clumps, which it was fine, and I added some fresh flour to it. So once you sift it, you can use it again if that's what you want to do. If you have a lot of one of your favorite seasonings in the flour that you've already used. And of course, the clumps come from when you put the meat in the bag. It's wet because you washed it off. So, little drops of water form in the flour bag and make it difficult to be lump-free. Which, like I said, you chop on one of those while you're eating your good food, enjoying it, and next thing you know, your teeth hurt, because it can get that hard. It can hurt your teeth, your gum, go up between your teeth, hurt your gum, and that's not pleasant. It might mess up the whole meal. And as you can see, there's no, but from cooking this, it will collect see the little bits of flour. They come off when you flip it when it's cooking. And what happens is, so when your oil cools down, and before you pour it back into your can and refrigerate it when it's cool, you want to sift your oil and find a way to strain it, so that way you don't have clumps of burnt flour from previous cooking. See the little flour floating around, and you don't want to carry that through to the next. So you clean your oil each time you use it, and if you put it in the refrigerator, it will taste fresh And if you keep it out, some people keep it out, and to me it gets a little old after a while. It doesn't taste. You can only use that for so long before it starts tasting stale. You can only use it if it's in the refrigerator for so long. Like this oil here, it carries a lot of flavor because it's dark. But either I'll add more oil to it, or if it gets too dark, then I'll have to replace it and never mind adding anything to it, because then it ruins the flavor of everything else. Peace, love, and light. Enjoy your chicken, fried chicken.